Hey guys, my name is Third Eye, and today we'll be once more talking about dead artists in the music industry and analyze how these are forgotten. Because, yeah, sadly, when someone isn't here, he's forgotten. Well, not always, but we will talk about that later in the video. And so, I'm also gonna explain to you why I think Michael Jackson will, at some point, be forgotten in history. But before we go any further, make sure you subscribe to my channel if you like my videos, and if you have any idea for a future video about music, comment it down below. Well, I'm gonna start by saying that if an artist is dead, it is very difficult for him not to be forgotten, and normally some specific things he did when he was alive will help him to be remembered. I'm gonna tell you all of the things that make an artist remembered once he's dead. And by the way, of course, everyone will be forgotten. I mean, it's obvious that in 10,000 years, no one will remember Mozart or whoever, but I'm talking about the near future. Well, first we have one that doesn't really depend on the artist. I mean, he can't control it, and it's that depending on what your estate or your family does with your music after you die, you will be most likely forgotten or not. For example, if your estate or whoever gets to own your music when you die doesn't release anything new, like posthumous music, that artist will most likely be forgotten because his fan base will eventually get tired of listening to the same songs over and over. To explain this, I got the rapper Nipsey Hussle as an example. Nipsey died in March of 2018, and it has been more than 2 years, and his family or estate or whatever hasn't released anything new. I mean, they released only some music videos, but nothing really new. And yeah, these videos were really successful, but he's still starting to be forgotten. I'm really sorry, but it's true. And if they don't release anything new, he won't make the charts anymore, and he will be forgotten, probably in the next few years. And another thing that makes artists forgotten is bad posthumous music. You might think that I just contradicted myself with the last point, but let me explain. If the estate of the dead artist releases music that isn't similar or hasn't got the same quality as the one he released before he died, he will be forgotten as well. Now, the examples I got to explain what I just said are XXXTENTACION and Michael Jackson. Starting with X, as I mentioned in my video about exploited artists in the music industry, the posthumous music his estate has released is really bad. He's most probably the most exploited artist in the music industry ever. The posthumous albums he has got, Skins and Bad Vibes Forever, are really bad. They both suffer from the same problems. Almost all the songs there feel totally unfinished, until the point where, in some songs, the only participation of X is the chorus, which consists mostly in a constant repetition of the same phrases. And also, most of the features on that record are artists that X didn't have that much of a connection to. Well, I'm sorry to say that because of what I just told you, X is starting to be forgotten. I mean, he's getting a lot of views a day, but he got a lot more when he was alive. It is really sad that what is making him forgotten is his estate and his own family. Now, let's go with Michael Jackson. Well, we all know what happened in 2010 with the first posthumous album and the 3 fake tracks. But I'm not gonna talk about that album, since I already talked about it in my video about exploited artists in the music industry. But I'm gonna talk about the second posthumous one, Escape, which was a complete success. Everyone in the world sang Michael Jackson songs again in 2014. And you know why? Because the album was really respectful. Add that to the list. An artist won't be forgotten if the projects released after his death are really respectful. So, by now, I don't think he will be forgotten, except for the fact that Mike's estate hasn't released new music from him in 6 years. If they don't release anything in the next years, I think Mike will start to be forgotten. And that leads me to the next point. An artist isn't forgotten in a long time if he did something that stood out for the music industry, something that people hadn't heard or seen before. And with this said, we can again talk about Michael Jackson, because he brought something totally new for the industry, the music video. Well, for him, it was actually a music movie. For him, music videos were not just a simple video to promote a song, they were a statement of art. No one had ever seen before what he brought to the table with a music video. All the characters, the dance moves, the story made it something very entertaining to watch. And he's also the most solitary artist in history, because he donated about $500 million to charitable institutions during his period of life. And a very polemic artist too. His controversies during his life made him a lot more popular, for the good and the bad, even though these controversies were all false, as I proved in my video disproving them. Third Eye then decide, will he be forgotten or not? Well, he will, but he will probably resist a few hundreds of years. And guess someone who also brought something new to the table? Well, Frank Sinatra. He practically pioneered the concept album, and he also made the voice matter. He cemented the notion of the interpretive singer as an autonomous musician, and that made him remembered until today, and he will most likely be remembered for a lot more time. Next in this list, we got Juice WRLD. Yeah, you heard it right, Juice WRLD. I chose him because, let's be real, he was a prodigy. First, he popularized a lot the emo rap, which was not really new, but not that popular. He also was a legendary freestyler, up to the point where he could record like 5 songs a day just freestyling the lyrics. I don't think we have ever seen that before in the music industry. And last on this list is obviously Freddie Mercury. Well, apart from his iconic stage performance and his extraordinary vocal range, he embraced femininity as Queen's frontman and also dispelled any and all preconceived notions about rock music, like for example, hypermasculinity. This can of course be seen in the video I Want to Break Free, where he and the rest of Queen's members all dress up as women, which had been never seen before. Well, and that is my list of artists who innovated the music industry and therefore will be remembered. I of course could have included a lot more artists, but for me these were the most important ones. Comment down below if you would like to see an entire video only expanding this list, with artists like Madonna, 50 Cent, Elvis Presley, or Paul McCartney. Well, that was it for this week's video. This was all the stuff that makes artists in the music industry forgotten or remembered. With all that said, bye. See you around.